cool. Alright. Let's see. This is my socks. All my socks done. Oh, I can tell you bitches are. Oh yeah, you bitches ain't. Come on, in here. This way. No, my socks, no. My socks are not dry. No. It upsets me. Ugh, there we go. I need a little extra layers, cause fuck. Chilly. When bare feet's touching the concrete. I had my furry little hat actually. Where's that? My Icelandic. There you are. Hell yeah. Oh hell yeah. It's been a while since I whipped this bad boy out. Yeah, there we go. Now looks like I have a big old fucking puffball of a head. And I like it, because it keeps me warm. Keeps me not so there we go. The pink lot of destiny. Gotta make sure you have that. Can't lose that. But definitely got some shit to look after today. That's for sure. That is for damn showsies. Got some monopolization shit. Got some fucking other shit. There's some shit today, from what I can tell, and that's gonna be fun. Well, not really, but you know, at least something. Plus, it gives me something to do while I wait for my socks to dry. I mean, I'm waiting for the rest of my laundry to dry too, but socks are the most important thing right now, because I have like a pair of socks that, or not a pair, but like one sock of a pair of socks, and the other sock of that pair is in the dryer. Because I guess either I'm wearing a dirty sock, or that other sock in there is now extra clean. So either way, what's about to do? Here we go. Pull some shit up here. There we go. Yeah. There's at least a few things I wanted to discuss for today. I know monopolization of Kroger's one. Ukraine's definitely another thing. Mainly because I'm just like, I mean, I kind of feel a little vindicated with that shit a little. Because at this rate, it's just become like two like warmongers essentially just like escalating a fucking war for their own personal profit and aggrandizement and for their own personal power. Because now Zelensky's literally pressuring or trying to convince NATO to do preemptive strikes and declare war against fucking Russia and essentially start World War III. So Zelensky's a fucking psychopath. It's like, NATO, declare war and do preemptive strikes to show that we in Russia don't even consider nuke. Yeah? It's like, what? Because that doesn't leave closer to nuclear war. You know, it's like, oh yeah, Putin threatened nukes, well how about we threaten preemptive strike via NATO? Because, yeah, we could do that. It's like, no, you can't, you fucking psychopath piece of shit. Let's just, like, allow more death and destruction and more, well, and more, like, fucking, you know, like, instability and power vacuums and just more, like, death and destruction and violence, you know, wreak havoc of fucking Ukraine because it's that fucking important to you. It's like, fuck off. just two war criminals, you know, like, battling out with, like, their fucking war profiteers and their fucking, you know, with their fucking, military-industrial complex profiteers and shit. It's just a fucking racketeering game between these fucking governments, so fuck them. Putin's a psychopath, Zelensky's a fucking psychopath, NATO is enabling all of that shit, just giving billions of fucking weapons, and Zelensky begs and cries to have more and more and more and more, like the greedy little fucking parasite that he is. Like, this war would be done far quicker if Putin and Zelensky were gotten rid of, honestly. Like, both of them, I think, are a fucking problem. Like, pretty much just, like, fundamentally from, like, from top bottom. It's like you have some sort of elitist, neo-lib comedian celebrity type who just, like, you know, squeezes his way into governmental power and thus, you know, just, like, uses that as a way for his own personal aggrandizement to be like, please give us, you know, like, essentially, like, a ridiculous fucking military investment and military expenditures while we continue the war profiteering of international military contractors. It's like, give me a break. Okay, this hat is actually a little too warm. Not quite winter yet. My winter hat ended up being way too warm. Got cold and then got really warm real quick with that hat. But, yeah, I'm pretty much just convinced that, like, Russia especially, Ukraine definitely, and NATO all just unanimously do not want peace. For different reasons, but they don't want peace at all. Because NATO and Ukraine essentially just want to destroy Russia at this point, and fucking Russia wants their claims over Ukraine. So, there ain't gonna be nothing, like, when it comes to progress and peace on that shit. It's just gonna be endless wars. It's just another front of endless wars that the military-industrial complex fucking profits off of. That's all it is. But it's different because we're not doing it in the Middle East anymore. Dr. Danless, Joe Husky MC. That's it. There we go. Clean that out. Sweet. Just kind of talking about some different little things that have been kind of on my mind this morning. First thing, kind of a little bit about Ukraine, I guess. There's like a whole nother fucking thing that's happening here at home, actually. That's kind of fucking ridiculous and insane. Jesus fucking Christ. Wow, is it really that bad? Oh my god. Okay, hold on. I'm reading for this article first, because I haven't seen it yet. Jesus. Well, yep, that's nightmare fuel. This is, yeah, this is just great. This is just nice. This affects me. Because Safeway is owned by Albertsons, and Kroger is buying Albertsons. The Safeway. This is like getting fucking insane, dude. This is just insane. I basically have worked through 2 buyouts of the company I work for. First of Albertsons, and now fucking Kroger, because they're buying Albertsons. My god, of course. You know what? It actually kind of makes sense why the president of the company was doing his rounds and checking out some of the different stores, because they want the surface dressing and want the presentation of these stores to look kind of like a Kroger/Albertsons store versus a Safeway one. That's why. And they're now basically having their work policies all and company policies intertwined as Kroger-based or fucking Albertsons-based type of policies now. That's what they're doing. And I've been noticing that shift. That's the excuse to fire everybody. Oh, I guarantee you they're gonna do that. The first buyout, a couple Safeways closed down. Ours didn't, and some of the people were laid off, and others who were able to go to and be transferred to other stores were transferred. So, yeah, they will do that. I guarantee you that shit's gonna fucking happen. Hey, fuck off advertisement. Anyway, Kroger's the second largest grocer by market share in the U.S., behind Walmart. And Albertsons is fourth after Costco, so Costco's the fifth largest. So who's the third? They don't mention who the third largest is. The company said Kroger agreed to buy Albertsons at $24.6 billion. Bruh. Bruh. Jesus Christ. Yeah, that's just not fucking dystopian at all. Albertsons shares are closed Thursday at 28.63 after searching on the reports that the deal was imminent. Kroger's second largest. Will be a closer second to Walmart. It's basically just so they can compete with Walmart. It's like, we want to become larger and bigger, comparison to Walmart. And thus, try to be bigger than Amazon even. It's like, it's just fucking, like a bunch of rich fucks, just competing on, like, who's gonna have the more bigger, powerful market. And Kroger's basically just trying to do that with Walmart. That's essentially what's going on here. It's like, Walmart has a big grocery store market chain. We want to get close to that and compete with them. And basically, by that logic, essentially fuck over, like, how many fucking workers at least, because it says it, 70,000, like, damn near 750,000 fucking people. Including me, too. Like, this is just, like, essentially a whole way of, like, continuous fucking more corporate fucking takeover and shit. I mean, this is just straight up going to fucking, like, create some serious bullshit and problems, especially supply chain-wise, because they're not going to be having certain items anymore because they're not technically Kroger products or whatever the fuck, and then, or, like, Albertson products, so, those are we're taking out and other stuff was added into. Where it's essentially basically outright just fundamentally, like, gonna be a fucking monopoly, essentially. At least at this rate, it's starting to become a fucking duopoly. Like, grocery store chains are already an oligarchic market as it is. Like, fuck. See the Kroger? Yeah, we're looking at that right now. Yeah, Biden's not going to stop the merger. He isn't that based. Like, if anything, he's going to be like, hey, Jack, this will help, invest into these stores, and if anything, create other jobs, Jack. This actually is a good thing. Don't mind the fact it's becoming a monopoly there, Jack. Like, Biden's done some dark branded shit, but I don't think he would do that. If anything, he would probably be like, hey, get to the table and fucking, make it at least somewhat more better. We need to let go to, yeah. I mean, there's nobody better anyway, from the get-go, but this pretty much, but this shit right here essentially solidifies that, yeah, like, at the very least, that there would be some challenge and at least, some sort of, like, restriction or at least, hiccups into something like this. With her at least, but of course, if it got fucked over and Jazz ended up being in power, they not only would have, like, comp launch and the free will to do whatever the fuck they want, but exploit the fuck out of everybody too, to boot. And price gouge the ever-living fuck out of everybody, because, I mean, these grocery stores already do this as it is. Like, they already price gouge the fuck out of people. Like, I mean, like, the Primo brand that we have at our deli department, it used to be, like, on average, for, like, hams, $8.99, $9.99 a pound. It's fucking, like, $13, $14.99 a pound now. It's like, how in the actual fuck, is this shit pretty much, like, almost double price? In a span of a fucking year, by the way. Not even a year. Is there a spoiler one in Oregon? Yep. Her name's Betsy Johnson, and she's a fucking cunt. Fucking whale of a cut, dude. Christine Drazen just looks like a psychopath that would slowly, like, gut you with a pair of scissors. She's like, I'm going to do slow incisions into you, and then just, like, straight up fucking, like, do slow incisions into you and, like, snip your intestines a little bit by bit. Christine Drazin just looks like that much of a psychopath. But she's a fucking insurrectionist supporting fucking Trump fascist type anyway. She's just not as brazen about it like Bobo or fucking Marjorie or something. Organized notoriously unreliable pollsters. Literally one called Clout Research. Dude, what the fuck? Yeah, the spoiler might be pulling more from the right, though, because she's pretty right-wing. It isn't completely clear, though. Well, I mean, if anything, Betsy Johnson would probably take enough, quote, moderates, you know, for, you know, someone like Christina Drazin to maybe not make it. So, if anything, it probably would be a spoiler more so for the Republican more than anything, but I got no fucking idea. I mean, it's, like, it's hard to tell. It really is. The DHM, which was promoting the Kate Brown's just going to lose narrative in 2018, which, like, didn't happen. She just didn't lose. It's clear, but what is clear, so we need as many votes for close as possible. Well, yeah, no shit. Yeah, so the tie-up comes during challenging time to grocery industry. Supermarkets have raced to keep up. Shoppers embrace new ways of restocking the fridge. Embrace new ways of stocking the fridge. Fuck off. What, penny pinch to, like, save money in hopes that they can at least have fucking food in their fridge? Companies had to invest in automation, employee training. Oh my god, cry me a river. Companies had to invest in automation, employee training, and more as consumers bounce between browsing store aisles, ordering home deliveries using curbside pickup. So what? Oh my god. Cry me a river. Like, I'm supposed to, like, you know, feel for, like, you know, the plight of the company because they have to invest in things. Grocers have been hit hard by inflation. Yeah, no, they haven't. They just price gouge people. The food prices have jumped from 11.2% from a year ago, according to the most recent Bureau of Labor Statistics. Companies have had to wait when passing on higher costs to customers and when to absorb them to stay competitive. No, they aren't. That's just no, they're not. They're just price gouge people to keep more fucking profits for themselves. They're just trying to do it in a way to where people don't just stop shopping. It's like, okay, too expensive, going somewhere else. Like, they're doing it enough to where people, you know, barely start doing that. You have a libertarian running for state senate, and his only based his position on legalizing marijuana. Everything else is cringe. For example, repealing child labor laws so children can precipitate in the workforce. No, gross, ew. Somebody who's like, yeah, child labor laws, you know, what are those? Let's have children basically just, like, work in the fucking factories and stuff, you know? Because that's totally not a bad idea. And a horrible fucking idea from the get-go. Their tiny hands can reach places adult can't, though. And? That's supposed to be the problem of who? Ain't our problem. Rip, I'm drunk, forgive my grammar error, Lamau. Bitch, my work just hires short people for that. Lamau. Yeah, I mean, at that point, just hire little people or short people or just people that are just smaller in stature, you know what I mean? I mean, it's like shit. What the fuck, YouTube? Top 6 crops to grow at home to save you from starving. It's like, what? Like, okay. Because having, like, a nice little garden of 6 things will definitely keep you from starving, sure. I mean, it'll probably help, but, like, I mean, to keep you from starving, like, unless you have a lot of land to just grow a lot of different things on, I mean, yeah, I don't know. I'd be kind of weary at work with someone else whose eyes level with my book, right? I mean, why? So why though? Like what? Because they might be able to see that shit? I mean, it's like, yeah, everyone else could too. If you got your crack showing, everyone else could probably see that too, you know what I mean? So, if it's being done in one, if it's being, like, shown for other people, then... My parents ran into my derpy cousin in Portugal, of all places. Your parents ran into your cousin, who happens to be in Portugal, because they are also in Portugal. Because of my fart right in their face, somehow. Well, hey, if you got, like, nature calling, and they just happen to be there, I mean... What can you do? I mean, that's... There's not much you can do with that. Outside of just hope that it doesn't, fucking, like, get in their face, I guess. I don't know. Nah, man, short people pride. Embrace that ass crack. Short people... Oh, I forgot I had this. It's my package. Some stickers. I'm just gonna show that part. Everything else is confidential information. I'm a little space dog like. Apparently he got drunk with my parents though. So he had some fun getting some drinks and getting litty. Oh, it's just a receipt. Okay. Cool. Yeah. It's these bad boys. I got a package for you. You'll need to sign for it, though. Well, luckily, pretty much all packages I get don't need signing. And I know exactly where I'm putting these, too. Gonna put at least one of these, or at least two of these on my 7.62 ammo can. Especially considering that Mikhail's best friend and greatest creation is on there. It'd fit. And that's the point. I don't know what I'm gonna do with the other two though. I'll think of a spot for him. Last time I had to sign something was my computer like 4 years ago. Yeah, the last time I signed something was probably trying to think. Actually, it was not that long ago, but it was only because my mom ordered something and it needed to be signed, and she let me know. It's like, hey, you at the house? And I'm just like, yeah. It's like, this package is about to be like delivered sometime today. Need signed. Blah 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 blah. And when I was just about to leave for work, the mail showed up, and I was like, oh, better sign this real quick. Actually, it's a super short person at my work. She isn't on my shift, though. One person on my shift is short, but not that short. All chilly again. Let's get this hat back on. Boom. Yeah. What the fuck? Son reacts to conservatives crying about a woke Pizza Hut. Are you fucking kidding me? Pizza Hut fucking woke now, damn it. Boo. It's like, what the fuck? Seriously?
TikTok, brave, heroic libs of TikTok, once again, despite being doxxed, is still doing this incredible work. Shows Pizza Hut sponsors a program which incentivizes kids in pre-K to 6th grade to read books. Already, I'm already pissed off.
Damn. Reading fucking books. How dare children read books? I love how, like, these fucking far-right fascists are essentially like, books, boo! How dare children read books? They might have queer shit in it. It's just like, oh my god, dude. It's like, what the fuck? I just love how they're just basically back at, like, the Nazi book burning shit now. where it's like, books, boo, it might have queer shit in it. I hate that. Kids reading books that might have stuff like that, boo. It's like, wow. It's just like, good fucking lord. It's just like, just God fuck forbid that like a goddamn company is just like, hey, kids, read a book. I mean, is the messenger probably not the right one? I mean, sure, it's a fucking for-profit company that only cares about making money. Who cares, like, you know, about them? But yeah, the message is true though. It's like, yeah, a kid probably should read a fucking book, so they don't become like a lives at TikTok freak.
The Pizza Hut trying to fucking get kids to read? Are you kidding me? Read books? You know who else wanted you to read books? Allah. That's right.
Allah.
The first verse in the Quran is literally in the name of Allah. Read.
In the name of Allah, read books, damn it! Not reading is haram! Don't be an infidel!
You know who else read? The Prophet Muhammad. I mean,
honestly, like, he actually isn't really necessarily wrong, because there actually was, like, a golden age of science and mathematics that happened within, like, Persia and Islam, with Zoroastrianism and later down the line with Islam, and it happened a lot, like, in Persia and the Middle East, and with the Ottoman Empire, for a time. Like, he actually is strangely, you know, like, wrong. Like, he actually is kind of accurate. Like, I mean, a lot of major mathematicians who were like Persian or Ottoman at the time, or Turkish, were actually, you know, while being Islamic, were very, very intelligent and like actually kind of ahead of the time when it came to certain things. Yeah, so there actually was like a golden age of where there was a lot of reading and expanding on astronomy, mathematics, and shit like that was going on in Islam. So he actually isn't wrong.
But there's more. If your kids start reading, what if they accidentally read something along the lines of Das Kapital?
Uh-oh.
Or...
don't want that.
Dare I say the Communist Manifesto?
Don't want children reading. They might be exposed to things that might radically change their views about stuff.
This is how they will turn your kids into homosexual Marxist fedayeen. Martyrs. For the Marxist Manifesto.
The Marxist Manifesto martyrs out there commit medieans and jihad against Marxism, woke liberalism.
Not to read. I tell you that all the time. Books are only good as fuel to light a fire. And sometimes to hold, like, you know, your manga up or something.
Hold your manga up. But that also would apply reading.
This week, one of their suggested books is Bigwig, a book about a child who becomes a drag performer.
Oh no.
Hello there. This June we are celebrating Pride Month and the diversity of our LGBTQ+ community. These 3 books explore the uniqueness of every person celebrated.
The only reason why they think it's bad is because they immediately apply being a drag queen or a drag performer means it's sexual. But there's plenty of drag queens and plenty of drag performances, you know, that are just like platonic as fuck. They don't have like a sexual element to it. So it's like, I mean, I just love how they think, oh, drag queen must be a sexualized deviant fucking trying to like do performances for sexual gratification. It's like, huh? It's like, yeah, maybe some, sure, but like that's literally not like the entire fucking community of drag queens, you know what I mean? It's like, give me a break.
To see what makes them different, makes us special. With Pride, the Book It team. Now, description: in the spirit of Julian is a mermaid, this irrepressible what?
What conservatives think that the Marxist Manifesto is? Hey!
I've never. This is what happens when you don't read. I wasn't even lying. What is this fucking irrepressible? Irrepressible?
Damn dog. Hey!
Irrepressible? I've never heard this word before. Okay.
Where does he see that word? Irrepressible?
Celebrates drag kids' individuality. Unable to repress? Oh, okay. Yeah. I am literally...
Chapter 1, legal marijuana. 2, unquestioned abortion dominance. 3, trans rainbows. 4, defund the police. Not just defund the police, but abolish them. Like, you know, to them it's just like legal marijuana, unquestioned abortion dominance, forced transition of rainbows, and abolishing all the fucking police. Because, you know, they just say defund just to try to fuck a dog whistle it. So based, but they generally completely miss the point. Economic policy. Yeah.
I wasn't lying. Okay.
It's not just trans rainbows, but it's like forced transitions and like rainbows, like forcibly transitioning them and their kids and, you know, and all white people and shit like that. Oh, you also forgot that, like, anti-white, you know, fucking guilt or some shit or whatever the fuck, you know, it got, like, that going on where it's like, I'm sorry, I'm white, you know, fucking shit. Like, there's a few things that, you know, we're missing, you know, from that, but, I mean, yeah, I think we're getting the general point, though. I mean, we get the idea.
Celebrates drag kids' individuality and self-confidence from the perspective of a fabulous...
I'm down to beat a girl. I mean, I am too, sure, why not? I don't give a fuck. But that's because, one, I'm a gender abolitionist, and two, I'm comfortable with myself. I don't really care if I'm, like, one way or the other, you know what I mean?
Pride Month. The baby is currently on 18 days free of controversies. This means he now doubles his personal record, which used to be 9 days. First of all, Michael, this account spreads a lot of fake news. Was the baby a good boy today? Let me tell you something. I thought this account was real. I thought this account had honesty. I thought this account had integrity. And then I found out the baby wasn't at a pride parade. Despite what I thought this account was saying. Okay? So, no. The baby monitor sometimes lies, chat. They sometimes lie, folks.
The baby.
Everyone knows it's illegal to lie on the internet. So I will not be showing this account. I will not be promoting this account that is full of fabrications about what the baby monitor is inadequate compared to the other bigger wigs. When wig flies off BB's head, she goes from kid to kid, instilling confidence and inspiring dreams in those who wear her. How dare this magical wig turn someone into a more confident person? How fucked up.
So, like, it's a little book they're freaking out about. It's basically like, hey, it basically, like, it's like a magic wig, okay. Like, it's basically like the same premise of, like, fucking, like, what's that snowman dude? Like, I'm forgetting the fucking snowman guy. Like where he has, like, the fucking little magic hat, makes a little snowman a fucking, like, real dude or some shit, or, like, or I guess it's like an anthropomorphized fucking snowman. I don't know why I'm blanking on the Frosty. Yeah, Frosty the snowman. There we go. Alright, I figured it out. But like Frosty's hat, you know? It's just like, I mean, it's like the same premise, only it's a wig. Frosty the Blowman. Shut up.
Absolutely unacceptable, dude. Teaching children that, like, magical clothing can instill confidence in you is completely unacceptable unless you're the Mormon Church. In which case, magic underwear is totally appropriate to teach children that want to instill magical confidence from our God and one true Savior.
The snowman made of cocaine.
Blue-eyed Jesus Christ. The thing about this is that, like, this is just like any other fucking children's book. It's just like it has, like, drag component in it. I assume that the mechanism that they are doing the storytelling through is using this, like, wig or some shit.
Yeah. I guess conservatives are literally all up in an uproar because, oh no, it helps, like, tell a story about, like, being confident and expressing yourself and shit. Like, oh no, God fuck forbid.
Traveling pants? Is that actually the same? I've actually never seen, like, the Sisterhood, or read the Sisterhood of the Traveling Pants, but I assume this is the same. Wow. Being to my link and didn't read any of my good takes earlier, it really is Pride Month, because this straight feels bad. Oh, you don't want me to start sending you actual affection? Please don't. I was actually just kidding about the fake thing, and the baby monitor is a funny name. No, I like that account. It's funny memes.
Is there any other,
for the most part.
Is there any other shit to it besides just, I guess, figuring out what the story is that Pizza Hut's, like, fucking pushing? So maybe hoping they would see a couple tweets from these sad fucks, but I guess not. But it's just another thing that conservatives want to freak the fuck out about. Like, goddamn. What happened to all being, like, fucking massive, like, Sigma bros and, like, fucking Giga Chads and shit, and yet they literally cry about a magic wig and being in a kid's book? And then like Potato Head, and then fucking M&Ms. Like I still can't get over the M&M thing. That one's just. It's like, oh my god, they changed the shoes of the M&Ms. They got woke. It's like, what? That one is that is exceptionally a doozy. That one was a doozy. Senator versus child with toy. What? Herschel Walker shows off his toy during a debate. What? Huh? What? What did he do?
So funny. I am with many police officers.
I cannot believe.
Wait. What was he doing?
And you know what's so funny? I am with many police officers.
I cannot believe that I missed last night's debate between a U.S. senator and a child that was excited about his Happy Meal toy. But,
what?
Democratic Senator Raphael Warnock went up against Republican impatient Herschel.
Dude, I honestly, like, feel bad for, you know, for Warnock, honestly, because he has to actually deal with a fucking child.
Fighting for a Georgia U.S. Senate seat, and wow. So I'm going to get to not just the big clip coming out of the night over Herschel Walker's toy, but I'm also going to get to a few other clips that are being overlooked because of that big moment, including a clip where I think Raphael Warnock made a mistake. I'm being honest here. I'm going to show you. That said, before I even get to any of this, it's clear what the choice is here, right? Like, there's no debate over that. Raphael Warnock over Herschel Walker, no doubt about it. But let me get to the first clip here, which this.
How's Walker even qualified? He pulled out a fake police badge, like, what the fuck? I think.
Lines.
I don't know what that was.
Herschel Walker and Raphael Warnock. This is a discussion, I guess, about law enforcement that just devolves into madness.
Oh, no.
You can support police officers, as I've done, through the COPS program, through the Invest to Protect program, while at the same time holding police officers, like all professions, accountable. One thing I have not done, I've never pretended to be a police officer, and I've never threatened a shootout with the police. And now I have to respond to that.
We are moving on.
I have to respond to that. No.
Respond to that. And you know what's so funny?
Like, Walker makes J.D. Vance seem intelligent in comparison. What about fucking Louis Gohmert?
With many police officers, and at the same time,
Mr. Walker, excuse me, Mr. Walker, please, out of respect, I need to let you know, Mr. Walker, you are very well aware of the rules tonight.
Yes.
And you have a prop.
Yes.
That is not allowed, sir. Yes. I ask you to put that.
Do you have a prop? That is not allowed, sir.
Prop away.
Well, it's not a prop. This is real. And he said, I have a prop. I never
it is considered a prop, Mr.
Oh my god, are you fucking kidding me? He's actually having a fight with the moderator? Are you kidding me, dude?
Yes.
You're very well aware of the rules, aren't you?
Well,
aren't you aware of the rules?
No, he's not. Evidently not.
The truth. Let's talk about the truth.
Thank you for putting that prop away. And
all right.
This is real. Oh my god, dude. Like, what? He actually had dude, are you fucking kidding me? Like, you're actually fucking kidding me. Oh my god. Oh my god. Dude, wow. Oh, god, that was painful. That was actually, like, kind of fucking, like, surreal to watch, honestly. Wow. Don't insult Fortnite like that. Fortnite fucking deserves to be insulted, okay? It deserves it. I bet it was one of those fake FBI badges also. I bet it was. It was like some fake-ass FBI badge prop thing, and Dude, oh my... I really feel bad for Warnock, bro.
Coming up, of course, but the moderator there talking to Herschel Walker as if he's a child. Quote, I ask you to put that prop away. Excuse me, sir, you're very well aware of the rules. Just replace the word prop with toy. I ask you to put that toy away. Excuse me, sir, you're very well aware
of the rules.
I think I've literally said this exact line to my child once. So, this is just... Wow.
I mean, I've been playing Fortnite on my Xbox lately. Shame on you, sir.
So I'm going to get to this yourself. Toy in a second. But the other line that's kind of being missed here is this fact that, yes, Herschel Walker threatened to shoot out with the police, as Raphael Warnock there mentioned.
But, you know, we're the party of backing the police and supporting the cops every step of the way.
Oh, yeah, that happened. Also, and that was over a domestic dispute, which a lot of that in Walker's past. Credit here David Cross to basically calling this out back in August, saying here, Jesus Christ, don't give this guy any pilot wings they hand out to kids or really effed. So that's basically what he pulled out there with that badge he pulled out. But this is over, so he, I was proud to serve the Blue as an honorary agent and special deputy sheriff. This is the shit they do with kids. Like, this is...
Oh my god. Like, special deputy sheriff doesn't mean anything.
On some level, sad that he is touting this as something worth, you know, bragging about. But, my god. So, Herschel Walker said he worked in law enforcement.
I said that's talk against secession, talk again, and saying himself will rise if Trump doesn't win in 2024. He'll switch his tune when DeSantis runs. I guarantee it.
So there are many times that he has said this. You can go through this piece, but just a few paragraphs here. It wasn't the first time Walker said he was in law enforcement. The Atlanta Journal-Constitution found while reviewing dozens of speeches and motivational talks by Walker that were posted online. Quote, I work with the Cobb County Police Department, and I've been in criminal justice all my life, he said in 2017. In 2000, he told Irving, Texas police that he was a certified peace officer, according to a police report. And he used his alleged law enforcement ties to justify why he had a gun, including a 2001 incident when he pursued a man who was late delivering a car.
What the fuck?
A lot more here to this history, but he has claimed this many times, and it's not true.
Like, he's basically literally impersonating a peace officer. Like, this is actually technically a federal fucking crime, dude. He actually doesn't like sense. He says he's part of the corrupt federal government. We need an outsider like dump. Like, I mean, whatever. Like, that he knows what an outsider is. Like Trump isn't an outsider, neither is DeSantis, but it's just like DeSantis is actually more smart about doing what Trump wanted to do. Like, that's why I say he'll switch his tune. Like, it won't matter when push comes to shove. Because they're hypocrites. They're two-faced. Like, they don't hold to their convictions for longer than, like, a week. So, it's just like, I mean, it's honestly kind of surprising when they do actually hold to their conviction. At least he doesn't like DeSantis. And I guarantee you that is not going to last long. I just have a very strong guarantee that, you know, when push comes to shove, or if he won the primaries, him being DeSantis, yeah, he'd probably vote for him.
Even, I don't even know why he is so stuck on this. But you can tell how poorly he did here, because this is Herschel Walker's campaign surrogate. This is Ralph Reed. I'm going to get to more on Ralph Reed in a minute. But here is something he said in response, or here's what he said in response to this badge incident.
I couldn't make it out. I don't know what it was. I believe it was a police badge, but I couldn't see it from where I was. So I really
I mean, if you work with him and shit, and you're a part of his fucking campaign, you would know what it is, then, you dumbass. He wants Southern independence, but doesn't want the U.S. to completely balkanize. He just wants the South to break away. Which means that the U.S. would balkanize. What a moron.
Well, again,
So it's just no rationale in any of his logic, but of course, not surprised.
Where I was, so I can't really speak to what it was.
But hey, either way, if he wants to have it that way, then hey, we'll curb stomp the South like we did last time. We'll just make sure Reconstruction's done right this time around.
As I could. heard the woman ask him to put it away. He put it away, but I couldn't see what it was.
He put it away after arguing with her for like a minute. Like a child.
You really couldn't see it.
Bullshit, bro. Like, bullshit, boo.
It doesn't exist, I guess. It just... They have...
Let's see how South likes listening to subsidies from California. I mean, they'll just economically collapse and then probably do, like, a war of aggression, you know, as a retaliation because the North is trying to, like, fucking, you know, just, like, you know, utterly try to, like, you know, say that, oh, the North and their fucking globalist, liberal, woke agenda is trying to crush us, so we need to, you know, and this is an act of war, so we're gonna declare war on them and shit. And thus do their fucking Southern war of aggression, and then we'll just curb stomp them and just beat them down like we did last time. I don't think they could fund a war. They would find military contractors and shit. They'd get crushed. Yeah, they'd find contractors and shit, but yeah, they would get crushed. There's definitely a lot of, you know, like military contractors and weapons manufacturers and shit that are definitely more friendly towards, like, conservative ways of thinking and shit in comparison to not. You know, and honestly, considering the industry, it would make sense. He wants Southern California to be a part of the breakaway South. That would basically, yeah, be a very liberal part of California. Like, he'd probably want Central and Northern California. like the eastern part of Central California and then, like, chunks of Northern California, like the Jefferson State or whatever the fuck. Like, he'd probably want that. He says the port needs Atlantic and Pacific ports. So let's say that South breaks away and it goes about as west as Texas. Does that mean that, you know, the South has claims to California and thus has a justified declaration of war to declare war of aggression? Because if so, hey, it all leads to the same result that I want, so I'll be okay with it. So let him be like, you know, it's like military defense minister or some shit, you know, whatever the fuck, you know, let him, you know, be a good persuader in their fucking government. It'd be fun. Laugh about New Mexico, it definitely isn't interested either. Yeah. Arizona, I could potentially see, you know, maybe, but not likely. I feel like there's too many places that are, like, centrist or liberal for that. Texas, I can see. Probably not even Arizona because they would have murked borders. Yeah. So he basically just wants the U.S. to basically be divided on, like, a line in the sand, like, horizontally. It's like, I just want, like, all of this U.S. under this line, south beyond, you know, under one state, and then everything north of that on another. It's like, no. That Mason-Dixon line ain't going all the way to the Pacific, bitch. Also, Arizona's direct ballot initiative, people would have to approve it, which is why it never would happen. There's too many places that are like centrist or liberal or even like maybe tacitly progressive leaning in Arizona that would just never happen. Even to the Republicans and conservatives that live there, because they just want to enjoy their fucking retirement benefits they get living there. So they probably are not going to be getting any of that if they lived in the Confederacy, so that even then, conservatives there would probably be like, I like the idea, but nah. I enjoyed this benefits of living here too much. It says to include northern parts of Mexico. So declare war on another sovereign state that has fuck all to do with this weird fucking confederacy. Oh my god. I don't think Arizona has many progressives outside, maybe Tucson, maybe Tempe. That's why I kind of said, like, tacit. Like, you know, maybe some, like, tacit areas where progressivism, you know, does have some places like Tucson. Mexico would kick their ass. Yeah, and that's with how unstable Mexico is. Like, the Mexican government how, like, fragmented and how, like, clusterfucked it is, like, even it would beat the Confederacy's ass. I bet if, like, the Mexico and the Confederate States today declared war on each other, you know, just with, like, how things are right now, dude, Mexico would whop fucking the South's ass. The United States itself would not have to do anything but just have popcorn. with two stronger opponents. I guarantee he would probably just do that with the US first to get at least those ports in the Pacific and shit, and then do Mexico. So then he can have an easier access to Baja California, then at least, you know, take that on top of, you know, some other parts of Mexico and shit. I feel like he has, like, some sort of an idea. He thinks, I think he has hardcore dreams of reviving the Golden Circle dream where the Confederacy controls all the Gulf of Mexico and the Caribbean. Yeah, honestly, he's describing the Golden Circle, you're right. That's essentially just what he's talking about, but just making it bigger. Because it wouldn't just be the Gulf of Mexico and Caribbean, but the Pacific too. He's also talking about that. He's just talking about the Golden Circle, but expanding it into a more modern idea. Because back in the day, the Confederacy really couldn't go westward. Well, they could, but it wasn't really part of their plan yet. The brown circle shit. Well, it could be the Golden Circle. The Circle of Piss. It could still be called the Golden Circle, just referring to it as piss. Like a nice golden browed, like, toxic piss. Yeah. Venom, do you at least play Union Dixie, like, in his face every now and then? I created a Golden Circle a few times to Victoria, but he wouldn't improve what I did to his precious Confederacy. A communist one. I already know what you did. I actually did that too once. I did a round playing the Confederacy and made them communist and essentially abolished slavery. It did all the base things, you know, and shit. And yeah, and I didn't get that far. If anything, I actually just basically did my advances more into the regular U.S. as a communist faction at this point instead. So, like, instead of, you know, a slaving, you know, Confederacy, it's, you know, the People's Confederacy, yeah. Where, like, we accelerated the segregation and shit like that. Even better, a Black Liberation Confederacy. Well, that's essentially, well, I mean, that's kind of essentially is what it is, if you think about it. I mean, because prior to the Civil War, there was actually like, an attempt by different, you know, slaves at the time who were, like, kind of collaborating with with other slave rebels or slave rebellionists at the time. And the idea was essentially to kind of form, like, a black liberated commune for freed slaves and agitators, you know, that are doing, like, you know, raids on plantations to free slaves and shit like that. It never came into total fruition, but it was, like, a legit concept that was talked about as, like, its own nation state, essentially. Like, that was basically, like, in the middle of the Confederacy, basically. Again, it never came to fruition or anything. It was just more or less just an idea that was heavily discussed amongst, you know, different people at the time, but, you know, just never was heavily supported outside of, you know, more of the more, like, stauncher anti-slavers and shit, like John Brown and shit like that. Victoria 3, I'm gonna try to make an anarchist confederate. Oh, is Victoria 3 already out? Oh, shit. Kind of reminds me, I should show you what happened to, my fucking, to my, Hearts of Iron 4 gameplay playing as the 4th International, like, Trotsky, Mexico. Because Third Rome is now a thing. Where, like, the Tsardom of Russia, like, basically got co-opted by the Orthodox Church. And it's just like, what? And then not even a week after that event happened in the game, they collapsed and lost their little fucking war and shit. I'm just like, wow. Damn. And now it's like a democratic republic, but it's still called Third Rome for some reason. I don't know why. But it's just like, what? You know what? Here, I'll pull it up, because it is legit. Shit's a little confusing now. I mean, it still works, but it's a little odd. Just gotta get all my different shit off the... I think it's draining, so I think that should finally be getting done. Yay. Alright, come on, load up. So I can show what what this legit weird-ass nightmare thing is. Oh, it's already up, okay. Cool. I haven't touched Hearts of Iron since the DLC update because Old World Blues is compatible yet. Well, in the meantime, have fun doing other shit. Like I do. Here. Look, because this is what I got going on right here. Let me just kind of show you via the factions. So, Forfeit International essentially has like most of South America. And here, let me go. Oh, damn, Japan has Hawaii. But here, let me go over here. So, here's like, you know, Eastern Russia, or what was it? Which, at least for this right here, this Far Eastern Commune, they're a part of us too. They actually started like that. They broke away and were like this from the get-go. So, yeah, they pretty much, you know, joined me essentially right off the bat after that, so that's dope. The flag's actually kind of cool too. It's got like the initials for their, you know, name of the place and shit. Holy McShit, it's 86 degrees right now. Oh my god. Ugh. And also there's like this, the Ulan Ude Autonomous Army, which I don't know what that is. And here's Third Rome. And then like a breakaway Russia. Which, you know, it's like the Trudovics now, but they also for some reason are now like, this shit's so weird, dude. Where is it? It's somewhere in here. I think it's this? No? Okay, it's one of these fucking wars. Because I'm pretty sure, like, Russia is at war with Germany. Yeah, they are. Yeah, here it is. I don't know why, but that's a thing going on now. And they have war goals on, like, everybody else. So, like, even though that's happening and shit, you know, oh! The Socialists of Ukraine. Hey! Will they become part of my faction? If I try to convince them? No, they aren't really fond of wanting to do that. I'll make them do that. I have my ways, and oh my god, I didn't even notice this. Holy shit. What? Like, all the little breakaway states down here popped up. Bruh. Whoa. Even this. All these little baby states. I like how this is Volga, Germany. Like, what is that even supposed to be, even specifically? You know what I mean? I guess like a German, like, community on the Volga or something? I got no clue. The map looks like some just threw up the spaghetti. Yeah, right there at least. And Italy's literally just British Italy. There's the Hungarian Federal Republic, and then Transylvania. So that's going on. There, Yugoslavia became Mega Yugoslavia. And the German Republic has kind of been gobbled up a little bit, and Berlin is now Poland. Like, Poland became huge. Like, Poland became like a fucking superpower. Like, out of nowhere. And also France and, like, you know, the anarchist communes in the Iberian Peninsula essentially are all, like, at war for some reason. So, yeah, that's all going on. So, like, the Allies are essentially, like, the biggest fucking faction now, outside of, like, this shit. The Volga had a huge German sub-community until after World War II when they were forced out by Stalin out of fear they might rebel. Ah. I kind of figured. Yeah, honestly, for me, I honestly have no idea what I'm gonna do about, like, you know, with the Fourth International, because of the Allies. Like, there's not gonna be a real way for me to fucking compete against this. Like, I might be a little bit of a superpower myself, but I'm like a minor superpower. I'm not, like, that big. So, I mean, Brazil helps, but still, you know, it's just like, I can't go after France, the US, Canada, the UK, all by myself, and, oh, Iceland's a fucking, Workers' Republic, which is also a part of the Fourth International. Actually, outside of Central America, as I was slowly, adding them faction by faction, this was the first faction that, joined the International. Like, they, I don't know why, but they slowly became communists, and, or I guess the Workers' Republic and shit. And when that happened, they asked to join my faction. I think just because of what was going on here in the war, and out of fear, you know, to at least be more secured. Did you do the focus? Well, of course I did. I mean, this is how this happened. I'm actually I pretty much have justifications to go into Peru, and I'm just kind of slowly getting shit built up, ready to go for that. And then after that, it'll be Bolivia, and then Argentina and Chile. But luckily, some of these countries have already, like, you know, switched, like Uruguay over here switched, Brazil naturally switched over. Paraguay was already communist, because that's how they start. I think Colombia was the same way, Panama was the same way. You know, so some of these countries have already essentially, like, you know, switched over before I came in and, you know, puppeted them. Because, I mean, I puppeted all these. Belize is right here, so I technically could puppet them and shit, but they're actually getting pretty close to, you know, being communists themselves, so I'll just kind of let that take some time. Just kind of let it do its thing. Because there's not really that much of a need. Like, it would be easy to just have, like, one division just, boop, just pop its way in there, but, you know, it's not that big of a concern. I mean, I suppose I could. Paraguay is commie, but then it's a fascist nightmare state now. Yeah, I wonder what happened. Because obviously, like, you know, you have Rafael Franco, which, you know, I'm sure he obviously had been a very pinnacle leader, you know, at the time, you know, for this to be the case. So I'm guessing America probably happened, you know what I mean? Probably did a coup against him, funded by, well, America, and, you know, thus became a fascist nightmare now. Chile's actually becoming kind of socialist these days, too. And I guess, you know, slowly becoming accurate at that, you know, in this timeline. Peru, I don't think is as much. Oh, whoa, never mind. Maybe I could just wait. Maybe if I just wait long enough, maybe it will fucking, convince over. Oh my god, like... What happened with, Oh, it's still communist. Okay, it's just called the African Union now. I thought it was not communist anymore. But no, it still is. It's just partially gobbled by British Italy. Because of their previous fucking war, I guess, and shit. But, yeah, this is kind of a... Oh my god, what fucking happened? American Raj? Huh? Huh? American Raj? Oh, it's a fucking supervised state by America. That's why. What the fuck? There's a baby Pakistan. Oh, I forgot. I have a Socialist Republic of Afghanistan here. Maybe. Oh, non-aggression pact. I can do that at least. Improve relations. Hopefully, we can become allies and besties. Aw, they're not really convinced about that. I see the Allies released African colonies. Well, this is after the war. If you're noticing, a lot of these colonies are from the fascist side of things. And also, all these colonies released because they literally declared war on France. Like, all of them now, like, a lot of them now at this point, you know, were released after the war ended with Germany. So... some of them are like communist states and some of them aren't, and I can't invite them to the faction because these little small countries aren't allowed to for some reason, I guess. So I really can't do anything, because you can tell the United Kingdom has not decolonized at all. In fact, I looked at their focus tree just out of curiosity, did not go down that path. So if any colonies were to be released from here, it would basically be because they rebelled against the UK. Which is kind of what happened. Mainly with France. And, yeah, I also don't know what's up with this. It's like there's a baby Russia. That's its own independent state, I guess. And then this fucking nightmare. Oh my good lord. I don't even know how Third Rome's gonna get into Germany, considering... Well, I guess they can go from St. Petersburg right here and fucking do naval invasion. That's the only way I could kind of... The fuck happened to Ethiopia? They're a communist state. They're the African Union. They went down the focus tree to essentially be like, you know, we're gonna essentially, you know, try to take all these states, you know, and shit like that, basically. So, it's kind of whack. Like, honestly, like, while here is mostly okay, everything else is just fucked. It's just like, bruh. I mean, I honestly want to keep going with this gameplay for sure, because I do want to try to maybe take a stab at going after Japan while they're dealing with the Chinese United Front. Because then, you know, I have a front line I can use by just going here, via the Far Eastern Commune. I wouldn't have to, like, you know, waste all my time trying to do a naval invasion. I could just, you know, do that, send paratroopers and have them drop, you know, over here after I take Korea, and then boom. I have a really easy line of access, you know, just by doing air superiority. Of how many alt history paths there are. I mean, I think they'll, I've noticed a way to how to fix it a little bit. Make sure that historical AI focuses are on, and make sure that, at least for the states that you want specifically to go a certain route, change those, but don't change anything else. Like, that's essentially is what I did with this one. Like, I made Russia go Tsarist, and which I guess became a Orthodox Church-ran state. And then I let Germany keep being Hitler mode. I made France kind of go communist, but they never... They're still a democratic republic, but yet they're like 70% communist when it comes to party popularity. Like, how in the fuck are they just not, like, a communist state yet? Like, shit definitely is a little whack. But here, I'll make sure that at least this one's saved. Because, like, I want to do another gameplay a little bit as well. Because this is in 1944 in the timeline so far, so... The war in Asia is still going on. There's still, like, kind of a war in Europe. And communism is basically taking most of America by storm outside of the US and above. Which will change, but I wonder, like, once all the conflicts are over with, if other countries will leave the factions. Because I think that'll add, you know, a good, like, you know, a real good sense of being able to have very little issues. Because I won't have an entire faction fucking me. If people wonder why I oppose the CHIPS Act. According to DevDire, Paradox is going to try to get to a combat rebalance for the next update. And also, you know how, like, in Paradox, where you can kind of, like, give some countries, like, a boost multiplier? Mainly, like, you know, I think only 5 of them. Like, they should do that with at least those 5, but then any country that you select, and have that, you know, down below. You know, so, like, have a or at least have a few other ones that you want to select specifically to be, like, multiplied, you know, with a certain power. You know, so, you know, ooh, wow. When I resigned, I'm actually in the top 4. I'm in 4th place in the end of the game. By just basically not fucking around with the fucking conflict of the World War II that was going on, and just slowly doing my takeover in Southern America. Based. You know, maybe I would be able to pull it off, because all their shit would all be weakened and stuff. Well, no, because they'd have, like, 1 billion divisions, while I only had, like, 100. I'd still get swamped. Yeah, people wonder why I opposed the CHIPS Act. Oh, so because they're laying off different jobs and shit? Oh, yeah, they're, thousands of different workers and shit. Oh, the Lend-Lease gives you as a lender war score and takes away the lendee's war score. Oh, really? So I should do more Lend-Lease projects for sure. Because I honestly find myself in the game having like a shitload of fucking aircraft. It's going to be used as slush fund for executives. And guess what? They're going to take, you know, months-long vacations or take multiple vacations within a course of like 3 to 4 months and just enjoy all of it snorting coke and fucking prostitutes. And visiting places like Hamburg or some shit, or like the Maltas. Yes. Corporate subsidies are almost always a bad thing. Of course they are. I can't really think of a time when they ever been good. So yeah, corporate subsidies, that's that one time, you know, that was a good thing. Said no one ever. Besides shitlibs. And capital owners, obviously, and the people that obviously benefit from that. Comes only weeks after a company has to share a dividend on the same rate as the previous few quarters. $6 billion in annual dividends. The sequence of events confirms warnings about the so-called CHIPS Act from a bankruptcy smaller number of critics who caution of how changes legislation will let finance payouts to wealthy. Yeah, slush funds. I don't want to say always because maybe there's a scenario. I don't really think so though. Yeah, there's. I mean, yeah, sure. I'm sure there's like the rare example of like, you know, it may be like a town, you know, given a corporate subsidy, you know, to a company that's trying to invest there or some shit, and end up actually being beneficial for the town and boosted its economy everywhere else and shit. Like, there's probably like the rare example of something like that happening, but I mean, at this point, definitely not anymore. Like, at this point, it's pretty much a fucking joke. Here, Yes, awesome. Well, I love how there's, you know, like a little something mentioned about Bernie Sanders in this. Indeed, when Bernie Sanders attempted to attach conditions to the subsidies, including a ban on stock buybacks, cap on executive pay, government equity stake, union neutrality provisions, he was thwarted by Democratic leaders. Because, of course, you gotta make sure Democratic leaders, you know, like, you know, have like the more proper say instead of some radical, you know, that might actually do something that's fair for, you know, the average working people instead of giving nice little cushion little parachutes, you know, for us. Can't allow that. No. Let me guess, Bernie vote yes anyway. At times, Democrats blocking Sanders' initiatives were bolstered by Intel CEO Pat Gelsinger, who insisted that legislation not pass immediately. The company could move factories overseas and hold up already planned investments. Of course, intimidate and threaten to offshore your fucking shit. Actually, doesn't say if Bernie did or not. Sanders' original warnings are being realized in the form of a report in Bloomberg News. Until corporate a major reduction in headcount, likely numbering in thousands, to cut costs and cope with sputtering personal computer market. No, just to give slush funds and benefits to the fucking corporate higher-ups. Some divisions, including Intel's sales and marketing group, could be seen cuts in effect about 20% of staff, according to people. Because we want to maximize, you know, a lot of our fucking, you know, profits and make sure that we have more, you know, in our benefits and more of our slush funds, yes. Yeah, you know, it's also left in because it's run by warmongering cowardly wokesters. Yeah, and no one besides the fucking far right gives a shit about it. Because it's just like, oh, look at this great patriotic woman who happens to leave, you know, because of her principled values just being tarnished by the cancel culture woke mob. Poor Salad Galore. Which is straight up not surprising at all. Not the Onion. Texas Evangelical brought to tears over Hocus Pocus 2. It will unleash hell on your kids. It will unleash hell on your children. Pure hellfire. It's like, oh god.
So, I don't know how many of you have seen Hocus Pocus 2. It's now streaming on Disney+, not an ad, by the way. And it was okay. I think that the first Hocus Pocus is better. I mean, you can never do better than the classic. You know, sequels are never going to have as much love as the originals. So, you know, it wasn't bad, though. I thought it was cute. It's nice to see the original Sanderson sisters back. Bette Midler, Sarah Jessica Parker, the nun from Sister Act, is that the same lady? I'm not really sure. I don't know her name, but I love them all. Really, really fun. Either way, this lady right here has some thoughts about Hocus Pocus, and her thoughts are, if you watch it, then you're inviting Satan into your home. So let's see what she has to say.
My stepsister and me watched Hocus Pocus 2 and nothing happened because it was a mad movie. No, what happened was you actually invited Satan into your home.
Is that you unleash hell.
Oh,
on your
okay,
kids.
excuse me.
You unleash
you're
hell.
inviting Satan into your home, but you can unleash hell on your kids, so it's a little bit more serious than I initially implied.
It's actually Magic Mike 2.
Jamie Gooch is a mother of 3.
And I just have to say, I'm not going to go too hard against her because her last name is Gooch. So
Gooch,
life
though.
didn't really hand her a good a good deck. If your last name is Gooch, I'm so sorry. I can't be that mean to you. But yeah, they do look stereotypically Christian. This man has a very aggressively Christian face, does he not? Like, he's...
Oh my god, dude, that guy does. He has, like, the most aggressive, like, I'm a wife beater and I beat my kids when they disobey me. And I am a veteran, and I, you know, now currently a firefighter as a volunteer, because I don't actually, do it full time.
Stands at colleges, and he hands...
And I'm a part-time pastor, too.
He's one of those people you can tell. She doesn't go to the college, but she definitely believes everything that he tells her. But I have to say off the bat, and again, I paused it like 2 seconds in, and I'm already talking. We'll get to it, okay? But these children... She has no idea how much they're going to grow up and hate her guts for her religious views and his religion.
And honestly, I could kind of tell that kid on the far left, that teenage kid there, he's secretly, like, kind of a metalhead or some shit. I just have a vibe off of him where it's, like, just judging how his hair is, like, you know, meant to be like that, you know, kind of slick to the side, you know, crew cut, but it's, like, a little long for it. Like, he kind of wants his hair growing out, and he wants to, like, you know, bang them whips, you know what I'm saying? You know, it's just like, some tells me about him, he's gonna be, like, you know, an edgy, rebellious, like, you know, teenager in his later teen years and shit, like, because he looks like, what, fucking 13, 14 or some shit, so, give him, like, 16 or 17 when he's in, like, you know, high school, and one of his buddies shows him, like, some Judas Priest or some shit, it's like, yo, dude, my dad, you know, listened to this album before, it's kind of cool. Your dad listen to shit like this? It's like, nah, listen to stuff like 5 Finger Death Punch. It's kind of meh. It's like, this shit's cool. Listens to, like, Breaking the Law, and he's like, dude, fuck yeah.
My personal story here in a moment, but let's let her talk. And I'll try not to pause it, but it's...
I want long hair with my step. He's forcing me to cut it, lol. Hey, how's he force you, what? Just by, like, saying, well, you look like a little fair data. It's like, I mean, just tell him, like, go fuck off. Like, literally show him, like, all, like, the... like Vikings or fucking like, you know, like ancient warriors or like fucking metalheads and shit. Like fuck.
Which Family Farms in Troy.
I love everything to do with house and home. I believe everything starts here.
This time of year, fall harvest is heavily celebrated
The
in
Gooch
the
Family Farm.
Halloween.
Bro, hold on, we gotta look at that sign.
I believe everything starts here.
This time of year, fall harvest is heavily...
The Gooch Family Farm, bro. Yeah, we be planting and harvesting some gooch up in this farm here, baby.
Family Farm. No.
It grieves me, the thought of exposing our kids to darkness.
To darkness!
The thought of exposing our
No!
to darkness.
To
Oh my God,
darkness!
she's crying at the thought of her kids watching Hocus Pocus 2. I want to honestly go to the highest cliff I could find and jump off of it in Minecraft. I can't take it. I can't take these people, I swear to fucking God. Gooch Family Farm. Imagine that. The Gooch Family Farm. I'm not buying from them. I don't want to know what they're offering.
America.
Harvesting up some of that gooch.
Problem. And right now, one film in particular.
The whole movie is based on witches harvesting children for blood sacrifices.
In a recent Facebook
Yeah, I doubt it.
Post because I was afraid of the reaction that I would get.
Gooch
Sure.
advises moms against letting their kids watch Hocus Pocus 2.
I believe whatever comes in our TV screens, there are things attached to that.
Oh my God. Wow, you sad, impressionable fucking human being. Oh my God. I believe the things that are on TV. Yeah, do you believe ancient aliens, you dumb cunt? Like, oh my God, dude. Bruh. Oh my God. How do you ration someone like this?
The things that I've watched with my eyes or heard over a TV screen, they become manifested in real life.
No, they don't.
What?
Like, what? How?
Like,
what?
If I watch a movie where there is a wealthy person, will money fall through the television? If you watch
Fuck, I
a
wish.
movie where somebody is getting laid, will ass manifest in your living room?
Oh, yeah.
Like, what she's really referring to here is spiritual warfare, so I'm being facetious, obviously, where there's this Christian belief that what you allow on your television, it's essentially a portal that's inviting things into your home. So like when I was young, for example, I wasn't allowed to watch Harry Potter because to watch Harry Potter would be inviting witchcraft into our home, which is effectively the devil. But little did I know back then, it would be inviting TERFs into our home, which is even worse than the devil. But I'll let her continue.
Thinks it's fake and innocent, but they could be
It is.
casting any
It
type of
is.
spell that they
It
want.
literally is.
Anything could be coming through that TV screen into your
Gooch.
home.
Like entertainment.
She says most of
So
the
when
feedback is
she says that we have to steal their soul, she thinks that they're literally sucking your soul through the TV. She's like, and then your soul's gone.
And then your soul can't be saved by the will of Jesus because you got no soul anymore. And you got no soul, and how can you just like let your children be exposed to that? Oh, God, depravity.
God of War, where once it has your soul, that's it. There's no afterlife, no heaven, no hell, nothing.
You just
So you
been
gotta be
soul
careful.
jacked, bro.
Because what's on TV is very real. This is just, it's sad to me because she doesn't know the difference between fiction and reality. She thinks that there's actual gateways to hell. And I had this thought too, but the difference was that I was like 11. This is a grown woman, okay? Yeah.
I mean, for fucking real, though. I mean, I think, like, the last time I, like, genuinely was, like, believing some shit on TV or whatever the fuck was probably, like, yeah, like, around 11 or 12, basically. Because of, like, you know, like, Lost tapes or fucking, like, you know, like, Mystery Monsters or whatever the fuck it was called and shit. Like, you know, because, like, ooh, you know, it's like, you know, someone said a thing or had hearsay and blah, 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 blah. So that's, you know, must be real or some shit. I mean, it's like, I mean, like, TV's not, like, you know, some genuine real thing or some shit, unless it's, like, one of those, like, film or react, you know, things or whatever the fuck. Or, like, Smoking Guns Walls Dumbs or some shit, because it's just like real videos of just random people reacting to them or whatever the fuck. Basically react videos before react videos. And, you know, it's like outside of that, it's just like entertainment. It's fake. There's nothing real about it. And even then, it's not like, ooh, like interjecting some shit, you know, out of the screen into you or something. It's like, oh my fucking god, dude.
From the television screen.
Bruh.
Good one, Oblivion. Absolutely. This gooch doesn't want to get sucked through the television screen. We have to stop. Okay, the name. I cannot fucking handle this. Why can't she just have a normal name like Smith so I'm not making gooch jokes the whole time?
Gooch!
Positive, but she knows her opinion isn't for everyone, and that's
because
okay.
it's fucking
stupid.
To stir up conversations, just not cauldrons.
How do you feel? How do you respond to people who are going to say, you're crazy? It's just a movie. It's all in good fun.
It has been and always has been. Then the post was not for you.
But isn't the same thing true? She's on the television screen right now. By watching her, are we...
It's like, hey, Mom, I don't like being called a long-haired faggot by my stepdad. It's like, hey, I know you'll be kicked out if you do have long hair, but don't rock the boat, bro. It's like, what? It's like, what? It's like, how's that rocking the boat? Like, you're not the one rocking the boat.
Jesus into our homes? Does it work the opposite way as well? Perhaps she does believe that. I don't really know.
This was for people that have been on the fence on the decisions they need to make for their family.
While Gooch's opinion may not be the most fun, she
Gooch,
says that putting
bro.
it out there changes even one person's mind. It was worth it.
I think at the end of the day, I want people to walk away with discernment. If you're watching
discernment that you're a dumb bitch and easily impressioned and literally believe anything that you see on the fucking television.
Start thinking for yourself, and even over.
Yeah, why don't you? Yeah, start for yourself, lady.
And consider all the options of what you're partaking in.
In Troy versus Shaw. News
oh my
10.
god.
Okay, chat doesn't believe me. This is a real news report. So this is not The Onion, by the way. This is KSLA News 12. And it's totally believable because, again, there are people like this. There are people like this. American Jesus loves the Gooches. Absolutely. You know, Gooch is really spreading the good gospel here. I'm so sorry for her that her name is Gooch.
The Book of Gooch.
I don't want to go too hard on her. But listen, if you don't think that people like this exist, they do. Okay? And at the beginning of this segment, I said that her kids are going to grow up to hate her. Well, that's because I was one of those kids, right? My parents weren't as strict as the church was, but there were individuals who would guilt trip my parents if they didn't take away what they perceived were evil things. And my co-host just left, so let me go ahead and switch to solo cam. But anyways, members of the church, for example, they would always harass my parents because they let me play video games. And I didn't even play violent video games. I would play, you know, really innocent games like Mario Brothers. But I wasn't allowed to play Mario Brothers because there were ghosts in Mario Brothers. And ghosts are bad because apparently they defy the word of God. I don't remember the specific logic, but...
I mean, it was the same thing for me with Harry Potter. Like, I mean, at this point, I now exceptionally don't even give a fuck anymore. But back in the day, like, I wasn't able to watch it because my mom literally thought, oh, they're projecting, like, witchcraft and fucking... like pagan spells and shit like that on the kids with, you know, by trying to, like, you know, groom kids into, like, you know, witchcraft shit or something because, oh, witchcraft is bad, you know, because God, or question mark. I mean, it's just like, you know, like pretty similar shit. Also, even when it came to like music too, like when it came to like, you know, what albums, you know, like metal bands had and shit, and like, you know, how like their album art would be and shit, you know, because she would be like, oh my god, I'm seeing fucking, you know, like satanic imagery. I'm like, even if there is, I don't give a fuck. It looks awesome. So whatever. You know, it's just like, I mean, it like there's all sorts of fucking, you know, imagery and shit where they're all just like, bruh. They're like more similar to Scientology. I thought, well, of course they are. Well, I mean, if anything, it's more like Scientology, just more similar to Christians. My little dad doesn't give a fuck about anything like that. He lets me play Grand Theft Auto when I was a kid. Yeah, my dad was the same way.
A plan for those souls, so they wouldn't just linger. They would either go to heaven or hell. So because there were ghosts in Mario, that was bad. Remember Animal Crossing? Completely innocent game. Well, there was a fortune teller in that, so I didn't necessarily get guilt tripped by my parents, but at that time I was thoroughly brainwashed, and I saw the fortune teller, and I thought, God damn it, I can't play this. Banjo-Kazooie, couldn't play that.
What?
That was evil. My pastor, he wrote this whole, I guess, op-ed for the church newspaper explaining how evil Pokemon was, and that there was this story of, I should move this so I'm not going to get copyright claimed by Disney, but there was this story of a kid who saw Pokemon the movie in theaters, and when there was red eyes on the screen from like Mewtwo or something, the kid fell into a trance, thus proving how evil it was. Now I think the actual story had something to do with the kid who maybe had epilepsy. I'm not really sure what the details were.
Shut up!
My pastor claimed that like you will essentially possess your kid with the devil if you take them to see
Get over
Pokemon.
here.
Now again, my parents were a little bit more laissez-faire, even though they would kind of get harassed by members of the church for not like policing me accordingly. But that one, they had guilt tripped me so much that I ended up getting rid of Pokemon myself because I thought that I would go to hell. So I got rid of all of my Pokemon cards, all of my Pokemon like stuffed animals. I had a really cute Pikachu stuffed animal. Had to get rid of that.
What?
And I can tell you, that doesn't just go away when you're an adult and you realize all of this is bullshit. You build up a real resentment towards the people who fed these lies to your parents. And my parents were adults, so I blame them as well, right? But all of these people who were pumping that shit into my parents' heads, I really blame them. And I could tell you that my nieces and nephews and other friends who also experienced the same thing that I did absolutely fucking hate their parents and anyone from the church who pushed that. So this lady is just
saying, I do too. Like, honestly, I hate the fact that, you know, the shit is like peddled not just to me when I was growing up, but to like anybody, even on a more militant extreme level. Like, at least for me, it wasn't like as militantly extreme in a sense, but I mean, shit, it was still like a major fucking, you know, prevalator, you know, influence, you know, growing up and shit. And it's just like, yeah, obviously you gotta go to resent it. And it's honestly, especially for me, it's why I'm not just necessarily an atheist, but an anti-theist and shit, because it's, you know, I mean, I understand and know what the fucking fundamental harm about what spirituality or what religion does to people. I mean, fundamentally, it's a harmful fucking thing. Just at the end, you know, as a concept and as a fucking idea, fundamentally. Love my mom, hate my stepdad, yeah. I mean, I still love my mom, but, I mean, I don't like the fact that she, you know, still peddled this shit on me growing up, though. So.
To have all of her kids hate her. They're not gonna like the gooch.
Like sacrifices.
They're not gonna like the gooch.
She's putting them through hell. When you're a kid, you're not supposed to be worried about what is and isn't evil. You're just supposed to have fun, right? Play video games. But these evangelicals, they get to a point where they're so silly that every little aspect of your life has to be hyperanalyzed, but they never apply that same standard to themselves, right? So the church really liked to police what the boys did, right? Because boys were more evil, they played video games, whereas girls were more innocent, they liked Disney. Although now they probably say that Disney's evil, but I remember really pushing back because I couldn't play with anything.
This shit's just so foreign to me. The closest to religion I ever got is I think someone gave us a Bible for some fuck reason. My dad Roblox that shit. Well, hey, I mean, you had the based upbringing. I mean, because, like, you know, I mean, growing up in it, it's fucking horrible. It's shitty. And unfortunately, it's just why it prevalates so much, because the whole point about, especially religion and how it prevalates so much, is that you have to propagandize and groom children into it. It's also why they talk about, like, how you have to, like, you know, have children and shit like that yourself, because it's that much easier to propagandize through your own kids versus someone else's.
Shorty wizard bullshit in it. But there were a lot of Disney movies that were accepted at the church where there were witches in it. Snow White is an example. And I pushed back saying, well, how come the witch in my video game is bad? I think it was like Banjo-Kazooie that I was referring to, Gruntilda. How come Gruntilda's evil, but the witch in Snow White, that's fine? And the answer was something to the effect of, yeah, well, it's, you know, good versus evil. The story is glorifying God. It's always some bullshit. But it's like, well, the same is true with the,
They can't take me to church because I get into arguments with the pastors while they preach and end up getting kicked out. Based.
It's evil, right? So it's just, it is absolutely insufferable. And I swear to God, I hold a grudge. I feel like my childhood was ruined. Like there was a good 5 years of my childhood where I was miserable because I had a difficult time making friends when I was younger. I suffered from a lot of mental illnesses, in particular depression and obsessive compulsive disorder. So I kind of felt like this weirdo, right? So the one thing that really I enjoyed was video games. Pokemon, different types of video games. But I couldn't have that. So, you take that away from a kid, they kind of become miserable and they spiral, and you just end up hating the people who feed your parents and you this bullshit. It's not just my parents, like I was brainwashed too. But the difference was that I was a child, so I don't blame myself. I don't feel embarrassment or shame because of what I did when I was younger. Because, you just kind of do what your kids, or what your parents want you to do. So I just thought, well, fuck. I mean, I don't want to go to hell, so I better listen to my parents and listen to the church. And even if they're wrong, what's the worst that happens to me? I lose another video game that I was previously playing, So I remember, and I was one of these kids where I had to over-police myself just to make sure that I was doing my due diligence and I could have things. So I'd call up GameStop with a list of video games, and I'm like, "Hi, can you tell me if this game has any witchcraft in it? Because I'm not going to be allowed to play it."
Oh, poor Mike.
700.
Even I never did that. I just would ask for a game, and luckily I just was able to get it, unless my parents realized, oh, too violent.
12-year-old.
Luckily, my dad didn't really give a shit.
Explaining these video games to them. Okay, well, this one, it has a witch in it. I remember explaining Animal Crossing. I'm like, okay, so there's a fortune teller in it, and that's definitely evil. I know that's evil, but the game doesn't force you to go see the fortune teller. So if I just want to build my town and fish and make friends, I can just do that without going to the fortune teller. And I remember the 700 Club person telling me, as a 12-year-old, knowing this was a kid I called in, saying, "Well, what does the Bible say?" And I'm like, I don't know. As a little prepubescent kid, he's like, "Open up Ephesians 12." Or I don't remember the verse, but he told me to open up the Bible. So I opened up the Bible, and it's something about witchcraft. He's like, "There's your answer." And I'm like, "Okay." And it's like, God damn it, another thing I can't fucking do. It's just, the prayer line. I called the prayer line.
Oh my God.
So listen, folks. If you are religious...
He actually did. He actually, called up on the prayer line. Oh my God,
put your kids through this, I promise you, your kids are going to fucking hate your guts.
Yep.
And when they finally...
I mean, if you have to deal with shit like that, oh my God. You'd absolutely fucking just loathe everything about it.
Put them through this. You are going to have to bend.
See, this is why I've never, was luckily, that fucking hella into it. Jesus Christ, thank fuck. Because, oh my God, I would probably be more mentally, atheistic about shit.
Relationship with them.
I mean, I already kind of am, but
the reason why
way more so.
I don't hold a grudge against my parents is because I was able to convince my mom at least that religion's bullshit, and get my, dad to essentially move away from some of these more extremist elements of the religion, right? Yeah, the 700 Club, really fucking weird. Absolutely, I used to call in. Another thing is Halloween. Halloween's coming up, right? I couldn't celebrate Halloween because that was evil. You're letting the devil into your life, and I remember when I lost Halloween as a kid. Another thing, it's like, oh, well, I fucking used to like Halloween. I guess I can't do this.
I had to fight Get Nights at Overhill because my dad saw I had sexual themes in the box. The only thing they had hang-ups about for some reason. Huh. Yeah, that is kind of a weird hang-up. It's like, yeah, you can have any game you want as long as it has no sexual themes. It's like, okay.
I remember calling the 700 Club because they had this episode where you shouldn't celebrate Halloween because it's evil, yada yada yada, but they were giving away a free book.
That's the game you have a problem with? I know, dude, what?
I ordered the book and I got the free book. I don't think I still have it.
There's honestly barely any sexual things in the game. Every now and then there's some romance stuff, but that's probably the closest you ever get to it.
Why do we need organized religion in modern society? Look at the harm that is being done to families and kids with religion. Yeah,
you let me play GTA, no problem. Where you can literally get a blowjob and fuck prostitutes.
Argue that you don't.
And see
and
titties.
If you are just religious and you don't force it on
oh
your
my
kids,
god.
I think that that's totally different, right? My friend, she grew up and went to the same church as my parents, but her mom didn't force things on her as badly as it was forced on me. So, you know, it's not as big of an issue for her. But yeah, for me, every element of my life, everything that I liked was hyperanalyzed, and I ended up giving away like most of the
Knights of the Republic 2 has an applied sex scene, but Knights of the Republic 1 just had a kiss.
Oh, just because it was bad. It even got so bad to the point where any music that wasn't Christian music, I had to get rid of. And you know, when you're like a young teenager, I was like maybe 12 or 13, music was really like my thing. I loved music. I was really getting into it because, you know, teenager, they love music. And I got rid of all of my CDs that were not Christian. And all I could have were Christian CDs, because if it doesn't glorify God, then there's no point in its existence. And like, long story short, I'm droning on here, it was miserable. I look back at my family's religious streak as the worst time in my life. Traumatized me to no end. And getting out of that, I cannot tell you how free I feel mentally. And I just feel bad for, you know, the kids who have to put up with this, who have to deal with this now, because glorify God, Superjet Guy, means that if it's not something that is explicitly like pro-Jesus, or like is
he had the same Christian metal playlist as Venom,
something like that,
maybe,
then you shouldn't listen to it, because every
I don't think Mike listens to metal though.
Of your life should be dedicated to glorifying God. So that's what that means essentially. Like, why play a video game if, you know, you could be spending that time to praise Jesus? That's the kind of guilt trips that they put on you. But it really, like, I kind of...
That definitely doesn't sound like an absolute fucking death cult either, by the way, just saying.
Got out of...
Because essentially that's what Christianity is about.
When I saw how hypocritical they were, when I realized, like, when we went to the pastor's house, I was a nosy little bitch. And so I was looking at their fucking DVDs. I saw all these, you know, movies with witches. I see Snow White on the shelf, bitch. What the fuck is that?
I see Snow White on the shelf, bitch.
I see a PlayStation. Excuse me, I thought that every single game essentially was bad.
Oh, I see that PlayStation, bitch. What's up?
How hypocritical they are.
Yep.
That's when, you know, it all kind of falls apart.
Exactly.
So, yeah. That's my thoughts. That's why I'm
I love that. It's like, I see Snow White on the shelf, bitch. What the fuck is that? I love that.
Anti-theist, if you wonder why I express such, like, strong hatred of Christianity, that's why. It's because it ruined, like, half of my childhood.
As Christianity tends to do. I mean, it's kind of interesting kind of hearing about, like, Mike's, like, kind of upbringing, you know, when it comes to him being Christian, too. Or at least, you know, when he was growing up and that shit. Because honestly, at least to some extent, it isn't really that much different from my own, but just a lot, you know, in a lot of ways, just worse. I think the reason he let me play Grand Theft Auto was because he enjoyed it, too. And he probably knew that you can have at least a little fun with it without necessarily finding the stuff that he would have fun with, too. Such as, you know, getting blowjobs by prostitutes. Oh shit, big news on the horrible TwitchCon entry? Oh shit. I want to kind of hear about that a little bit. About the lady who basically fucking broke her back at that foam pit.
Lenovo Intel booth at TwitchCon nearly claimed the soul of a streamer due to an improperly set up foam pit. I'll give you the quick breakdown on the lore if you're not up to speed. Twitch streamer named Adriana Chechik was partaking in a fun booth at TwitchCon set up by Lenovo and Intel, where you push each other off a pedestal into a foam pit. I'm sure
with the hot coffee content.
Before.
Nice.
However, after Adriana Chechik won, she jumped into the foam pit, only to realize that it wasn't a foam pit, it was a foam kiddie pool, like something at a backyard wrestling. In fact, it wasn't even as deep as a kiddie pool. It was.
And also like, was layered of concrete, like it was just concrete down below.
A foam flatbread, and it was just flatbread cement, which is a goddamn violation of the Geneva Convention. Like, that is just an actual death trap. That is more deadly than the pit of snakes Indiana Jones falls into. It was only 2 layers of foam blocks, basically, over cement. And as I understand it,
like, what if you hit your head on that? You'd probably die.
You put like foam padding down or a
trampoline,
like a mat, so that way it absorbs some of that impact for a situation like this. And obviously, it's supposed to be deeper than like fucking 1 finger deep. You know, like it wasn't deep. I'm exaggerating, but it only went up to most people's knees, if that. So it wasn't.
It should be like head deep
for this,
and like thick ass padding and like a trampoline below above that.
They're going to fall with some force behind it. You need the foam to be a bit deeper than that. Here,
at least like 10 feet.
So when she jumped in, she had her tailbone directly on the floor and shattered her back in 2 places. And now she's needed a very serious surgery. Took over 5 hours, multiple bone fusions, and the insertion of a rod into her spine for stability. Like, it is a very serious and life-changing injury.
God, that sounds fucking, horrible.
She's going to be battling with for the rest of her life. It is a permanent injury. All due to negligence from Lenovo and Intel when setting up this booth because they didn't feel like actually setting up the foam pit properly. They also just didn't feel like shutting it down after injuries either because this happened to 2 other people. One of them dislocated their knee in that same pit, but they still kept that shit running. Baffling.
And the fact that even, like, someone allowed us to even pass through, like, the PR, like, pitch ideas, like, phase of shit is, like, insane in itself. It's like, how can we get people attracted to our little, like, you know, booth? Oh, I know. A pit that has, like, concrete in it and, like, you know, 2 layers of, like, cubes that are, like, the most, like, softest, squishiest foam that actually won't provide any padding, like, at all.
Is give you an update on this situation because I've been following it actively, and I went over on stream a couple days ago, but there's already been a couple new things that have come out, so I just wanted to give everyone the follow-up here. So Adriana Chechik had 1 surgery, which was all the bone fusions, but then she also needed a 2nd surgery. That was yesterday. And then she also posted a video of her trying to walk for the first time. And it's great to see her making some recovery here, but it's also heartbreaking to see how fucking painful it is. All due to something easily preventable had they actually just taken the precautions necessary to set up the foam pit properly. Now, I'm going to go ahead and show you the clips from stream where I go over everything as of a couple days ago, because I think there's a lot of valuable information there, especially from people that are more knowledgeable than I am on foam pits. There's a clip from Josh Strife Hayes, who's a YouTuber I really enjoy, who weighed in on the subject because he had worked at a trampoline park before, so he was able to talk about it on a deeper level. So I'm going to play all those clips for you now, just as like a full update on this whole situation. What's the TwitchCon news? Oh, yeah. So Adriana Chechik, the
San Andreas is one of the greatest games of all time. So many mods also. Dude, I love San Andreas.
At the TwitchCon, or the Lenovo Intel booth at TwitchCon. She broke her back in 2 places. Her surgery is done now, and I'd like to read her tweet. Because, man, I tell you what.
Like, she better file some hardcore fucking lawsuits, dude. Like, I mean, for fucking real, dude.
It's only up.
I mean, it could be a class action suit considering multiple people were injured.
Sounds like everything's gonna be going great. Here she said, where is it? Surgery went well. It took 5 hours and 30 minutes. More fusions than expected. Bones were completely crushed and nerve damage to my bladder. Hopefully I'll be able to pee again in the near future. No more squirting, probably. Had some bleeding around the bone, but overall good. Legitimately life-altering. The rest of her life course has completely changed. And now squirting is off the table, I suppose.
So I guess that's no longer a thing.
But she's being lighthearted about it, but on a very serious note, having fusions at her age with an injury that severe, she's looking at a lifetime of fucking misery.
And honestly, a lot of fucking physical therapy.
People that have had fusions in their back like that, that is something that never goes away, the pain. Her follow-up tweet also was this. In a lot of pain, but feeling hopeful and ready to bring the heat to walk again. Anyone know where I can get my brace blinged or a pink coating for it, as I'll be in it for a long time?
Someone got hit by a sledgehammer? No, so there's like a foam pit that, I mean, there's video of it, of like this, like pit and shit that was set up at TwitchCon. and a bunch of people got injured, including this chick that literally broke her fucking back on the cement ground, and essentially, you know, like, basically had like her life totally changed from it. I can try to find a video of the incident. Yeah. Let's see it. I'm trying to find, like, you know, a big clip that shows it here. Any of these show it? I think this will show it here. Okay, yeah, here it is. Yeah. Yeah, here it is.
Up in the air like this, like a cheerleader, and ass slams directly into the concrete. Now,
so this is the video that.
The reason why I say she ass slams directly into the concrete is because there's foam there, right? There's like little balls of foam there. But what is supposed to happen in that situation is the foam is supposed to dampen. It's supposed to dampen her jump. She's supposed to sink in. But she bounces. You literally can hear when she bounces because the foam pit is not low enough.
It's like 6 inches.
It doesn't cushion your. It doesn't cushion her fall at all.
My God!
You don't actually show the clip. Fuck you, Hassan. God damn it! You didn't even show the clip. Hold on. But you get the idea. Like, she like jumps into the pit and literally like breaks it back because she like goes like fucking full on. Oh, here we go. Here's an actual like better angle, an actual full clip to it.
What's going on? Let's try to process what we're trying to see here. Now, of course, as you can see, this streamer jumps down, and at this moment, they fucked up pretty hard.
Yeah, that was like where her back got fucking broke.
Now, of course, people are like, are you good? She herself is saying no. You know why? Because her back is broken. From what I understand, this woman actually needed like a metal rod in the back. Like,
yeah, I mean, she got a bunch of fucking, you know, like I said, you know, a bunch of fucking, two surgeries and a bunch of fusions and a rod and just fucked shit, honestly. Which, frankly, like, I mean, really at the end of the day, it just shows that, like, I mean, fuck Bezos, fuck people up. Well, it's like an Intel booth, so I guess technically Intel. But yeah, Bezos too, I suppose. But yeah, like, essentially, you know, she had her back broken because of, like, a very fucking horribly non-regulated fucking pit, basically. And because of that, you know, is now have her life pretty much, like, totally, you know, switched around because of that shit.
Blinged or a pink coating for it, as I'll be in it for a long time. I don't even want to read this one out. This is fucking horrifying.
What's the name?
All from it.
Tired sitting up today. Try sitting up today PT. I would rather die than do that again. I hate this. My whole body hates it. I didn't want to be tough. I didn't want to be brave. I cried for an hour. The pain submits of the meds I'm on. I don't know if I can do this. I can't explain this pain. Jesus fuck, dude.
We set up foam pit at a convention.
She seriously better fucking sue the shit out of him, man.
This is 100% the Lenovo Intel booth fault. 100%. Let me once again.
I'd say it's like 80-20. 20% the fault of Twitch, too.
Who actually spent some time working.
Because they just allowed it to
so he
be
gets
a
a
thing.
little deeper insight.
I used to work at a trampoline park. I know a thing or two about foam pit safety because it was drilled into us from the start. Safety in those kind of things is paramount. Like, if someone gets injured, you shut stuff down and you work out why. And you
Which
work
they
out
did do.
Your fault,
they kept it up.
Their fault, and what can be done about it immediately. foam pits were at least 2 meters deep. They had so much foam in them. They had springy floors underneath. They had wood underneath that would bend and break if something really big hit it. So there was still some give there. There was some absorption of all that power. It's had I have been working at that as an event, I'd have said this isn't safe. This is not safe.
I think anyone with eyes would have said.
Yeah, anybody with eyeballs
on top of concrete is going to protect anyone. Now, people have said, oh, they've got a waiver, they can't do anything, they've got a waiver. Waivers don't protect you from negligence.
Yep.
I think that's a really important point he makes, and he'd know better than most. I was under the impression her hands were also tied with that waiver.
I mean, no, not even, because that was full-on fucking negligence. If it was honestly a proper pit and she somehow got injured, that would be one thing, and it wouldn't be a fucking back injury like that. I mean, it'd probably be like, some bruising or, whatever. Maybe like a mild sprained ankle or some shit. But, the rules would still apply with that shit, hence, the whole waiver, because it kind of implies that, the operators, running shit and making sure things are all good are also, well, make sure shit's good, so if something fucks up, they immediately respond to that type of shit. They're not just like, well, whatever. Like, that's the idea. So when they're negligent on their end of the whole waiver, then they basically forfeit it. So at that point, it's up to a suit of negligence. At that point, I'd probably say fucking criminal negligence.
But that is a really good point. That if it's proven to be negligence, which I think anyone who would watch that video would see that it was improperly set up. She could have a legitimate case. Not against TwitchCon, I don't think. It'd have to be going after Lenovo Intel, I think. Because TwitchCon, it'd be very hard to prove TwitchCon was negligent on that booth since it's not their booth. They just okayed them to be there. So if she does pursue it, it'd have to be going...
They probably would have a case to say that, they are negligent to an extent, in a sense that, they should have known what they were going to be doing at their booth on top of just, giving them the okay. Because if you're giving them the okay, then it kind of implies that you've pretty much, gave them the okay to be there due to what they want to do. And it's like, oh, you want to do this, for your booth? You would have probably been like, okay, well, let's see how, it's like, how do you, want to have it set up and shit. And if it ain't, up to, what it should be, then no, you don't get to have your fucking booth. They should have probably taken a little bit more precaution to it. So I think there could be a case for it, but it'd be hard to prove, to be fair.
I don't know if she will. I would say it's probably worth it, because she's looking at an extremely expensive and very, very, very brutal future. Caring for that back injury now. Multiple fusions, the rod, PT, surgeries, all of that is going to be so expensive. I do think she probably should. I also work at a trampoline park. The smallest occurrence, we shut down the foam pit. The rules we have for it are set straight. It was 4 feet deep and has springs and foam padding at the bottom. This was unacceptable. Exactly. At the very least, if you're not going to put enough foam, you need to have something that's not just a fucking slab of concrete. You may as well just put, barbed wire and spikes at the bottom, like a Mortal Kombat fatality pit. It was such a dumb setup. Such an easily avoidable situation that has legitimately had a massively detrimental impact on one person's life now. And the girl who broke her ankle in 3 possible ways. You're getting things mixed up now. You're starting to cross some wires here. The girl who broke her ankle in 3 ways wasn't at the foam pit. That one is not Twitch's fault even slightly. She went a little too hard in her activity, so she ended up jumping over a chair, landing on her ankle and breaking it in 3 ways.
Ooh, ow.
That was... Twitch, no one could have planned for that. She just went fucking superhero mode over the chair and landed on her ankle. That one is not...
Damn. Yeah, that just sounds like a personal, just, you done fucked up mode right there.
Twitch's fault. Do you think they'll have the foam pit again at TwitchCon next year?
Oh god, no.
Good question. I think they should, but this time they make it even more dangerous, like an actual Thunderdome.
Thunderdome.
So you go in there, this time they actually have a moat around it instead of foam with alligators in it or something. Really just go in, make it as life-threatening as possible. That booth is extremely lucky that the only other injury that wasn't Adriana breaking her back in 2 places was a dislocated knee, which is still a serious injury, but they kept it open after the back break. Someone could have just straight up died.
I mean, seriously. Like, honestly, like, cause think about it, like, in this way. Like, what if someone, like, fell on their head? Like, on the back of their head on that concrete? Just, like, either they're gonna have some straight-up brain damage, or they're just fucking dead. Like, I mean, depending on how hard they hit it. I mean, it's like, that shit was straight up, like, I mean, it pretty much was borderline Thunderdome Mad Max level shit anyway. So, yeah, next year, just go all out, baby. Fuck it. Like, you're already trying to, like, threaten people's lives with, like, a slab of concrete while someone's on, like, a 5-foot, like, high platform to, like, battle it out for, like, noodles or some shit.
Just, they fall head first, they're hitting the concrete, they could have just died. They got super lucky because they didn't shut it down after the injury. So that could have ended up a lot worse. Has the company said anything about the injuries? That's a great question, actually. Let me look. She can't walk anymore, like, forever? Not forever. Through PT, I feel like she will be able to walk again, but she's never going to be the same. She had multiple bone fusions, man, in her fucking back, her spine. Like, there should have never
Just the thought of that just fucking hurts my back, dude. Just the thought of that, because I don't even want to know what that, like, is. I'm sure there's, like, pictures, like, of surgeries and shit that show what that is in comparison to, like, before and after. Like, no, mm-mm. No.
Yeah,
sounds
obviously.
agony.
But even that would be fine if they also put an actual, like, spring pad and, like, cushion mat above the concrete and then the foam blocks. It could have still been fine.
I mean, at least at that point, it would have been better if they at least had, like, some form of, like, you know, like, spring pad, like, foam pads and shit instead of concrete. Because at that point, you know, there wouldn't be, like, nowhere near severe injuries. Like, you might get, like, a slight bruise or, you know, at the worst, that dislocated shoulder or a dislocated knee or something because you fell on it wrong. But, I mean, beyond that, I mean, it's like, at least then it would have been tolerable to be allowed, I suppose. I mean, I still probably wouldn't have allowed it. Just be like, we need more foam, this needs more padding, what is this? It's like you're skirting some shit with this. Yeah. It's like,
For in some way? No. Here's my thought. I'm very confident in saying that they won't release a statement because then that could be used against them should she sue. Which, again, I do think she should, since this is going to be a very long and very expensive journey with all these surgeries she's getting and all the surgeries she's going to be getting, as well as lifelong PT and pain meds. She should sue, because that's going to be such a massive financial burden. They're not going to
thank you, America, with your healthcare system.
And if they compensated her, that would be an admission of guilt. So they're not going to compensate her. They're not going to say anything. They're just going to hope she doesn't sue.
Yeah.
That's my guess. That's my guess.
That's basically the company.
This was Lenovo's statement
like this essentially is like the corporate like way of doing it. Like, if the corporation knows it's guilty, it's not going to compensate because then that's an admission of guilt, and it's not going to say anything really outside of maybe some vague statement, which sounds like getting to, you know. And then beyond that, they're just going to keep their mouth shut and just hope the person don't sue, because that's essentially, it's just like an implicit way of saying, yeah, we're guilty, without actually doing anything that it says they are.
We're aware of the incidents of the TwitchCon visitors who sustained injuries in the Gladiator game soft foam pit at the Lenovo booth. The area has since been closed for any further use while we work with event organizers to look into the incidents. Something that stands out to me is that they're wrong, because it wasn't closed after the first injury or even the second injury. And they also do call it a foam pit, which means that now
a soft foam pit, by the way. I noticed that there was a key few phrases they were using.
If I identified it as a foam pit, they needed to play by the standard foam pit like rules. You call it a foam pit, which means you now have to go by exactly how foam pits are maintained, which they didn't. They can't fall back on like some kind of loophole like, we never claimed it was a foam pit or anything. No, again, that's not... I'll say it again. I don't think TwitchCon is liable for their negligence. I'm sure TwitchCon was under the impression they were going to do it properly, follow the proper protocols for a foam pit. This is a Lenovo Intel situation, so if she's going to sue, I think it has to go to Lenovo Intel instead of going after Twitch. because it is a Lenovo Intel negligence case.
I feel like it could involve Twitch, at least to an extent. Maybe not as a direct participator, but at least, like, indirectly. By not, like, going to their pit, you know, or going to their fucking, you know, booth and being like, you know, kind of like pre-checking things before, like, they let the con, you know, be opened up and shit, basically. Here, claimed it was a phone pit. Lemick what? Well, they haven't claimed any of that in court. Like, none of this has been in court yet. It's just kind of a... Basically, they wouldn't be able to claim that because, you know, in their statement, they did say it was a soft foam pit, basically. And, you know, if, you know, because of that, you know, like, when it comes to what rules and regulations are when it comes to a foam pit, specifically when it comes to events like this, it's very obvious they didn't, you know, abide by any of it. So, you know, if she does sue them and takes them to court and they try to claim otherwise, there's evidence of the contrary, and it would honestly even be even more of an exceptional admission of their guilt. So I'm just hoping she does, because like Nalova Intel, like, and shit really deserves to fucking, you know, get sued to oblivion over this.
But I guess since they're at TwitchCon, maybe TwitchCon's on the hook as well. I really don't know. I'm not a fucking lawyer. That's just my guess. Because it wasn't their booth. Yeah, people get really mad at the people.
But it was also their con that they allowed the booth to be at. So like I think at least in some part they are.
The commentary when Adriana broke her back in the pit, I can't even really be mad at them. I think they just had no idea the extent of her injury.
No, I kind of can too, when it's just like, you got someone who's obviously injured at a pit, and you're just like, nah, she's fine, she lives in that pit now, and shit like that. It's like, no, it's like, you shut up, you dumb bitch, like, fuck off. Like, I mean, someone's injured, like, quit, you know, trying to make, you know, fucking jokes at someone else's expense like that, you cunt.
Able to try and keep things lighthearted and move on. Because they were doing a live broadcast and they were probably panicked. Like, they were just normal people. Those weren't even like normal PR guys or anything. Those were, I think they were just like legitimately normal employees of the event. Like, I just don't think they knew. And they just did everything they could to, like, you know, hey, it's, you know, let's just move on, you know, this kind of shit. They probably just had no idea.
I mean, I kind of have a little press X of doubt. I'm not willing to give them benefit of doubt because they were just being really, really, like, kind of stupid with their shit anyway. Yeah, what else? Oh, Portland subreddit thing I was notified about. What's this? Oregon candidate up in independent candidate up in oh, it's this shit. First comment on this: why are the election cycles so fucking long? It's exhausting hearing shitty commercials constantly. Radio and television love this shit. There should be like a 90-day window to campaign. That's it. I mean, yeah. It needs to be, you know, like, more streamlined and less, like, dragged out and shit. It is, like, ugh. Okay, paint. Oh, I think I see your comment on your Rip City. You changed the law to make it like size 2 months. Okay, maybe it's 17. Yeah, yeah. I don't know. Maybe like a little, maybe like, you know, August or something like that. At least have like some time, you know, to kind of like, you know, have for like, you know, various different debates and time to like kind of, you know, go to different places and shit, you know, that you're campaigning, you know, like, or trying to campaign for and shit. So, I mean, I'd say at least have like some time, but it needs to be more balanced out. Like, I wouldn't say like too short, because then it, you know, the person campaigning wouldn't necessarily have enough time to like go to place and rally constituents and all that shit, if they actually give a fuck about that. And well, at least they should. And then definitely not long enough, because then basically it's just like, it's constantly fucking just like endless ads, endless bullshit, and it just gets tiring and it just gets annoying and just ugh. And basically, like, whenever articles are discussing about it, it's essentially just repeating the same shit. It's just like, ugh. So there is kind of a thing where it does really just get like tedious when it ends up being so fucking long. So there should be kind of a nice balance to it, you know, not like too long, but not like too short. Enough time for like, you know, the people running to get out there and meet with people and shit, or at least, you know, try to if they give enough of a shit to try to win. And then, you know, but not long enough to where basically just ad campaigns galore just fucking just drag on and just make it fucking ridiculous and just make more people annoyed than anything after a time. Our username's been uncovered? Yeah, I mean, honestly, I've seen your username before. I've been Robloxed. Shit. I mean, I kind of knew it was. I mean, you have like a pink little PFP or some shit. I mean, it's just, there's actually really no PFP. It's just like a generic, like, empty PFP, but it's just in color pink. I love that username though. I have a PFP, huh? Yeah. Profile pic. I mean, it's like you have people that have like these empty ones that don't have one, and they're just in different colors. Yours is in this pink. But some people actually have their PFPs, usually if they're like little Reddit little guy, usually. That's usually what PFPs are, it's like people in their like little Reddit characters. But when people don't have any of that, it's just like this empty, like, anonymous looking silhouette one with a shade of a color. Yours is pink. Used to have PFP, but Reddit revoked it. Aww. Yeah, like, I try to make, like, one of those little Reddit character things, but at least on mobile, it literally refuses to let me do it. I wouldn't pay them for Prime. Really? Damn, that sucks. Yeah, for some reason, they wouldn't process, like, the little Reddit character guy, but I did create it and at least take a screen cap of it, and I uploaded that as my PFP. So I have my little Reddit character as my little PFP, but I technically don't have a Reddit character because it won't let me do it for some reason. Don't know why, it just won't. I think it's just the app being dorky and dumb. Pizza, pepperoni or sausage? It's actually a third option. Pepperoni, sausage, or just cheap pepperoni. I mean, pepperoni and sausage, if I can do that. That third option should have been both. Oh, what's this? Oh, profile picture of Eddie and Snaggletooth battling it out. And then Steve Harris to fucking let me kill Mr. fucking battling it out too. You know who would win in a base battle between those two? Set the wrong image. That was the wrong image. It's still a good image. But that's actually, man, I kind of feel like Lemmy would a little bit, just because, you know, he's kind of a little bit more diverse and like he's more Harris, he's more refined. Yeah, I guess you're right. Because Gomez was kind of a lot more raw and like rough with his plane. While yeah, Harris is a lot more refined with the plane and shit. You're right. Yeah. Get that receipt. They found that's it. Oh, this it. Why'd they revoke this? It's just like one of those little Reddit dudes. I don't know what these little characters are called, but like little Reddit alien. What's wrong with this? Just looks like a Reddit guy that looks sad. Lemmy's great, but he also was kind of a spaz. Well, yeah, because he was like a major whiskey / drug dude, so he definitely was pretty spastic because of that shit. It looks hella funny, lol. I mean, it does look pretty funny. It looks funny, but he also looks so sad. He's like, I can just feel like if I saw the mask underneath, it just look like, just have this like sad puppy dog look face. See what little shit's on it too, you know, whatever little things. Not really too much at the moment. Oh, there's all something. What's this? Amazon's still trying to overturn Amazon's labor union victory. Why am I not surprised? It's like, hey, it's been like a long time since y'all voted for that thing, but we still don't want to do that at all. It's like, Jesus fucking Christ. Like, not even our company fucking fought that hard, to not implement our shit. They did for like a few months, and then they're like, alright, some of you will do that with. So it's like, even then, they still haven't done it in totality, but even then, they had to concede at least somewhat. Huckstone's gloves with Steven Crowder. Oh my lord. Oh, Steven Crowder had little Alex Jones on. That's adorable. How cute. I might check that out a little bit later, actually. I think I'll get my little pup on a little walk. Get me some food and stuff. Because I think the dryer's done, so now I can get my socks. So I can get my shoes on and stuff and actually go outside. Do a couple things for the day. Mainly grab some groceries and have a little pup on the walk and all that fun shit. So, bop. Of course. I'll probably come back with a little bit of Burskies too, because why not? And also I need to find out when the fuck I'm working for this next week. I don't even know when I'm... because we've been managerless, schedules have just basically, like, been up in the air, so, like, at this point, so I probably should figure out what the fuck that's gonna be like for next week. I don't know. I might take a 6-day overtime too. Work a couple hours and help them out, because fuck it. Even if it's like 3 hours or some shit, I mean, working fucking you know, like that with $24 an hour instead, you know, just for that 6th day, makes a diff. Bumps up that paycheck a lot. So, and at this point, all I'd be doing is just cleaning them up. Whoever's in the front, I'd just be like, yeah, just, you know, fucking, just kind of eyeball the front a little bit. I'll just kind of help clean up everything, get in stuff, whole shebang. You just hide customers. And be an RV streamer. I need money to do that. Like, I need, you know, some money to invest in that fucking thing, and then for gas and shit, too. Like, I need a little bit more than just, you know, just, like, grab an RV and go. Questionable things for donations? Oh, hell no. Well, maybe. Nothing's totally off the table, but if that'd be the case, I'd set up, like a tier. Like, for this amount, I'll do this. For this amount, I'll do this. You know, up until, like, this goal. And after that, we Gucci. Or until I legit just say I have a cutoff and I need to cut myself off. Or some shit like that. It's over, but no! Do I want to be bad? No. No, thank you. Anyway. Better go off and do my couple little things and grab some food too, because I'm a little hungry. So, anyway, I'll be back a little later tonight, so peace out, and of course,